To read how-to books, aka how to fish for gold. Basically, what I mean by how to fish for gold is that when you get like these thick 200, 300 page books, that there's only about 2 to 3 nuggets of gold, as people like to say, that these nuggets of knowledge, that's really what it is. I mean, and like all like these really thick books here, right? There's not that many great ideas, and as you read more and more books, those nuggets of information get smaller and smaller. So this information really applies to those people who are maybe a few how-to books into reading. Maybe you've read 2 to 5 how-to books, because after like maybe a few books, you kind of get the general understanding. Like you get a lot of perspective from all the stories. But really, the most efficient way is to fish for these nuggets, and I'm going to give you the specific techniques that I was taught by Lopez in his smart reading series and in his 67 steps, and by putting in practice myself, because I currently finished 3 books: Sigmund Freud in Civilization's Discontent, The Art of War by Lao Tzu, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Now, while reading these 3 books, I learned very important things like how to implement these techniques correctly of smart reading and how to really fish for these nuggets. So, I guess this marker is kind of faint. It means that a lot of these books are filled with stories, and we want to get straight to the facts. We're not cut through all the fluff. Just get to really what the good stuff is. Because if we look at this book, you can't tell me that is all. How many pages here? All 391 pages of facts. This can't be 391 pages of facts, otherwise you wouldn't have any more books in the world, because a book this dense in facts will never ever exist. Because look, if this book was really just only facts, it would look like this. It'll just be a piece of paper, or maybe like 10 to 20 pages, because really, if it's just down to straight facts and giving really those how-to step-by-step things, these people aren't going to make much money, selling 10-page books. People are going to be like, what the hell? No, I mean, you're not going to make much money. In fact, your publisher is going to go, screw off, we can't make money off this. So that's why they fill the book with stories. I'm not saying that these stories are bad. That's what I'm saying. On your first time or second time reading these books, these stories are great, to understand really what's going on. Okay, this guy did so and so, this guy did so and so. Stories are important because that's how we learn. We hear the game thrown around, we grew up listening to stories about whatever is happening. That's how we learn things. So true. That's why we have biographies. This is a proper thick book. Why? Because it's a detailed story of what happened in Arnold Schwarzenegger's life. And this is a proper biography where you learn the story, where you actually see how he implemented everything he did. Right? This is where you get stories from. You don't get stories from how-to books. They give you short, one-sided, not one-sided, but short stories that only serve to emphasize a point made in this book. We don't want that, because the story doesn't give you that full picture. This here gives you that full picture of how he really implemented everything, and that's the purpose of biographies. Biographies are for a different purpose. For a how-to book, you just want to know how to do something, how to implement it, and how to wash, rinse, and repeat the techniques that they teach you. That's all you want to know. Now that I've gotten through some of the introductory stuff, let's step into actually how we find these things. And I wrote a little summary here. Right? It's intro, your last page, the blurb, and the author, and notes. So what that means is that, okay, here got the intro page. Let me just find it in a second. Forward. I'm not gonna read the forward. I don't care about that too much. Tributes, don't care. Forward, no, don't care. Blah blah blah, don't care. First page here. Overview. An overview is good. Don't read into it like super slowly and like try and fish out major things here. See here, 7 Habits overview. This here is really where I learned a lot of the the things in this book. Here you see definition of habits. You can see here he explained about the habits and what they actually are. He speaks about paradigms and, you know, gives us an overview of the 7 habits. And, you know, it talks about assets and how to use this book, all those kind of things. Those are really useful things in the book. I found like the first chapters like really packed full of information. And then as you go through, you want to go through the back, see if there's, what was it, last page. You want to go through the last page. So that's basically, when you're at the last page, what you want to see is that you just want to browse through, see what's at the end. And if you see what's at the end here, you get really golden nuggets here. You know, you've got a little bit of a table. Really, you won't understand what this table means because you kind of have to read some bits of the book. More tables, more golden nuggets. I mean, this is really where all the facts are. It's at the end of the book. You'd expect all the good stuff to be in the beginning. Look, it's all at the end. You go. But that's why it's so important to go through right to the end. Yeah, and then appendixes, whatever else at the back. Then the blurb and about the author, right? Down here, you're going to read about what the book's about, what other people have to say about it, because we have this cognitive bias called the authority bias, which means that we have to have seen an authority approve something in order for us to like accept it. Say, I'm going to give a random example. Kobe Bryant buys a pair of Nike shoes, right? We're going to be like, okay, those Nike shoes are now high quality because now someone of a high authority has bought it and has kind of approved it. So now we're like, okay, now, you know, this guy approved it from us, you know, it's good to use. Same thing here. You want to bring down your guard to, you know, kind of stuff. So you want to bring down your guard so you can actually thoroughly learn the information you have in these books. Now the last one, notes. Let me try and find it here real quick. I don't want to go through this video too quickly because it's quite an important video where I learned a lot how to speed read, and that's important. Yeah, notes, I mean any diagrams that, you know, that's really important. I mean the diagrams really give you the most information. You know, you just read around the diagrams. More diagrams, I mean these diagrams are really helpful because that's when they actually explain the facts. And that's where a lot of the golden nuggets lie, a lot of the knowledge. Now, I just want to find the place where, usually at the end of a chapter, he gives application suggestions. You can see that right over there. Right, and just here, you can just see some applications of what you learned here. So now maybe, if you want to see in a chapter, maybe if some things are relevant to you, because maybe you've read many books and you know a lot of things and you don't want to waste your time, go through your applications here or the notes at the back. Usually they give some kind of summary. I know even in Sigmund Freud's Civilization, in his Discontents, he gives notes at the back of each chapter. And basically you just see, you know, here, okay, this XYZ is relevant to me, let me go find it in the chapter. You find it, blah blah blah, read, there we go. And then you don't need to reread everything over and over again. I like this book. It's basically how to make money out of property, but know how. Here they give it as hot points. They say hot points, but basically that's just the notes, the summary, or the best points they had in the book. I like it. This book, they also give like those little quotes. Now the book, there's another one, right? Just important quotes that they list all throughout the book. Right, you read about here. Maybe there's a foreword by Palm Golding. If you're not from South Africa, that's just a quite famous real estate agency here. And basically, yeah, I mean that's how you go through the book. I mean, obviously, maybe you read the acknowledgement place. Maybe you need further encouragement of why you should believe this person is worth your time. Just to go over it again, read the intro, first chapter or introductory chapter, kind of get a sense of what the book's about. Go to the end, see if you can find, you know, the summaries of the book, notes, appendixes, whatever, see what's going on. Basically want to get a big overview of the book, see where all the nuggets lie. You're basically just trying to build up your map with the introduction, page and going to the last page and reading your blurb or your forward, just to get that authority bias going, lower down your guard so you can actually take in that information and not say, okay, maybe this guy knows what he's saying. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do this because this guy knows what he's saying. And then we have the notes, basically finding all those little nuggets. They're not hidden. Look there, they're big and outlined. We just have to flip through the book, see what there is. And if we don't understand one of those notes, we don't understand something, that's when we go top of the page, whatever, we see what that note is referring to, and we actually read, see, and then understand it. That's how we go through these how-to books. That's how we go through quickly and effectively. I don't have this book right here. It's basically We Want You to Be Rich by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. I find that there was a shitload of fluff. I mean, really, if you read that book page by page, you wouldn't make it. You go to maybe the first chapter and you'll get so pissed off. You'll be like, okay, this book is useless. There's so much fluff and bullshit everywhere. This book is crap. I'm never reading it again. It's wasting my time. No, you're wasting the book's time, right? Because remember, it is your job to find those golden nuggets in the book. Those stories there are to help you, because maybe that's your starting book. Maybe you need those stories. Maybe if you don't understand something, you need those stories. But it's our job to use the contents page, use the introduction page, use the blurb, use the appendix and the index, all this kind of stuff, and all these notes, the diagrams. Let's sift over all the information that's there in the book. Let's get a general idea. And then let's really now see all the points that they have to offer. If we don't understand something, that's where we read everything to get the full picture. So basically that's the end of it. Nothing much more to say of how to read. That's basically how I do it. Now I referred to, just wrapping up, I referred to biographies. And Lopez recommends that we read a more philosophical, deep, difficult book. So I chose this one. Similar friend is Civilization Discontent's pretty hard book. Wasn't easy for me to understand, but I started to get along the way. That's basically, how you have a shower in the beginning of the morning. You cleanse yourself of all the, the dirt, and really you're just cleansing your brain of all the bullshit and the ads and all the stimulus you've seen that are unnecessary. Then you have your how-to books when you read, during lunchtime, middle of the day. I read this when I come home from school. When I'm having supper, basically just before I go to bed, I read a biography. The point is that with the biography, you program yourself with knowledge. And stories, you hear it's like a pop culture thing. I don't know if that's the right term, but basically, we hear in movies or stories that, you read stories to young kids and falls off to sleep. Same with us. I read a story, get kind of sleepy, and then go off to bed. Really, because these stories, they're quite nice. It also programs you with courage. You're going to be like, oh, this guy did this, and you're so, courageous. He didn't think twice about it, and he just went out for it. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And you just went out for it and got this stuff, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be like this guy. Then we sleep on it. We wake up tomorrow morning. We start taking action because we have that courage from yesterday. Courage is learned. We learn courage. We see it in our parents. We see it in our friends, and then we try to emulate it. We read it from the people we read biographies about, and we emulate it. This is all about changing the habits in your brain, right? To changing your habits of how you read books. We've been taught to read the books from A to Z, back to front. No, that's not how we read books. We read books, intro, last page, the blurb, author, and notes. I don't really have the summary memorized in my head. How exactly do it? It's kind of second nature for me already just to read the book like that. But that's basically how you want to go through the book. So I hope you guys learned something useful about reading. Hope this encourages you to read, because these daunting 300 page, 400, 500 page how-to books are really just, depending on what level you are, maybe 10 to 20 pages of solid reading, or maybe 50 to 100 pages of solid reading, depending on where you are. The more you know, the less time you're going to spend reading stories. The less you know, the more you're going to more time you're going to spend reading those stories and trying to understand, the kind of topics and things he's talking about. So, catch you guys later. I'm going to do a book review of those 4 books I read already. Sigmund Freud, Civilization Discontents, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, Art of War, and Why I Wanted to Get Rich. I'll go through those 4 books, and I will create a playlist and get those 4 books reviewed for you guys probably during this weekend. And basically during the week, I'm just gonna go through some basic how-to things like this, and basically see what I'm gonna do with my channel. I'm still starting. I'm still trying to find what kind of stuff I'm gonna really double down on and specialize in. But basically, I'm just sharing kind of the tips and tricks I've been taught, the kind of tips and tricks I've learned from these 1,000 Rand programs that I've paid, and what I've learned from invaluable lessons from these people like Ty Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex Becker, all these kind of new age entrepreneurs. So catch you guys later.